Hello and welcome once again to Hour 1. As always, I'm Charlie, and this time we're taking a look at Dishonored. Now, I actually initially wanted to play this game when it first came out, but for one reason or another, gave it a pass. It had this great ad campaign where it had a wailing song to it I just thought was the coolest thing ever. So with that being said, let's get to it.
That's it.
I
Watch
guess
it.
starting the timer now.
Casting off. We're away.
Bit of a lengthy intro, I guess.
Oh there. We're going up.
Oh, that's cool looking.
Seal. Ready. And she's rising.
Way and up she rises. Way and up she rises. That's some good looking water. It's not perfect looking, but it's some good looking water.
Let's play hide and seek first. I'll cover my eyes and you hide. You have time? Mother's busy talking to that nasty old spy master.
Okay, why not?
Okay, here we go.
Corvo, 2 days early, full of surprises, as usual.
Oh, I suspect you're evil of some kind.
Wait, where are the guards? Who sent them away?
There were
Mother,
guards?
What are they doing on the rooftop?
What? Emily, come here.
Uh-oh. That's new.
Emily, get behind me!
It's not bad.
Look out!
You should eat, Corvo. This meal comes from a friend.
I have friends in here? Ah!
Tomorrow's execution will be restricted to the personnel assigned to the event and approved dignitaries only.
What the boy was that? Someone help me out. Ah! Get around it. Eat metal.
I guess stealth's out of the question now. Not very Bioshock. Keep flipping when you get it. That's a tad unfortunate. Who's waiting on the other side for me? Ah. There are a lot of rats in this prison.
Gotcha now.
That was cool, I guess. I feel like someone should have heard the pistol shot. I don't know. Probably should keyhold that. That douchebag from earlier in here for me to beat up a little bit. The height difference between crouching and not is a little unsettling. Alright, this ain't thief. I can't search no drawers. Guess I come back here at some point? That almost makes no sense. And I could have sworn I saw something over here worth grabbing. Guess not. They're making a real hard case for not just murdering everyone.
That's just ridiculous. Stupid rats. Plague. Elixirs. Bunch of crap.
That is some bad AI.
No, stupid goddamn.
Attention. Tomorrow's execution will be restricted to the personnel assigned to the event and approved dignitaries only.
act up, you. Let's beat him to the house. Fall down already.
Swordplay's nice. Kinda.
Attention. Tomorrow's execution will be restricted to the personnel assigned to the event and approved dignitaries only.
And down you go. Bullets. I'll take them. Really, you can't see me?
Attention. The solitary wing is off limits to maintenance crew.
Down you go. I can move back while doing that. Cool. Most excellent. Most excellent indeed. Far Cry 3 skill right there. Totally still can make it up there. Whoa! Didn't see decapitation coming. Fish, okay. Bullets. Coinage. What's this do? Oh, closes that door. Suppose that's useful. God damn. Oh, that's kind of messed up. And we're running. I get you've been in prison for a couple months, Corvo, but damn do you run slow. Yeah, those rats are terrifying. I don't know a lot about rats, but I don't think that's what happens. Should I be concerned about the rats?
Aren't we supposed to load the bodies in the carts headed to the flooded district? Yeah, screw that. That's too far. I don't want to catch the plague. You? No. Doesn't the elixir prevent it? Maybe. Either way, let's just jump them down there. Rats.
Oh shit. Shouldn't you monster be fixated with that dinner I just threw you guys? Oh, that's a glitch if I ever saw one. Not the greatest thing this game's ever done. Crossbow, nice. Weird little... Ooh, that's kind of cool. That's stupid. You're too daft to remember. Look for whiskey for the answer. Oh, I think I get it now. Let me just start me the traps whenever I do that. 451.
You should bathe. I can smell you from here. Please, not now. What's that?
Assassin! Help! Take out his leg! Hit him!
Another boat segment.
This is the Hound Pit's pub. Closed for business after...
I do not get this game's architecture.
We're right under the Lord Regent's nose, and he don't know a thing.
Why does whale oil glow? I don't know much about the old whaling rules, but I don't think whale oil glowed. Oh, right. So I'm stealing stuff from Piero to... Not how bench vices work. Somewhere else? It's not cryptic or anything. Okay. Some bullshit going on there. Okay, those are cool.
Campbell is holding a former overseer by the name of Martin. He's one of us, and if you manage to find him, give him whatever help you can.
Alright, so it's obviously an hour. You heard the alarm go off. So, Dishonored. This game's a good example I look for in the first hour of a game. They've introduced the basics of combat, kind of started elaborating on the story. They've set up a lot of dominoes they continue to knock down throughout the rest of the game. And in theory, I'm kind of hooked. Note the word in theory, so we're gonna come back to that in a second. The game looks fine. I think the game's like 3 or 4 years old, potentially. I don't know off the top of my head. As always with these things, I try and do minimal research. I want to say this game came out... oh, maybe 4 years ago or something? If that's the case, the game looks great. Except for the characters, which... the design for the game is really cool. The environments, the cities, the technology, the levels I've been in so far have a nice sense of coherency but different locales. Hell, like even some of the gear I've seen, like the spring sword I picked up between a pistol and a crossbow, it feels very well. Like those guys in the weird stilt things, the walker guys, it has a nice look to it. Even like the clothing, it has a nice cohesive period sense to it. The character models themselves, occasionally look great, and occasionally they're kind of bad looking. Like, I guess the main bad guy, the Grand Regent or something, his character model looks fantastic in my book. The Empress and her daughter, not so much. Maybe that's an art style choice. It's got kind of a, I almost want to call it an oil painty look for the character models, which is fine. It just doesn't quite match how good the world around it does. Like, you heard me talk about how good the water looked in that one scene. The design aspects for the world are great in my book. It's an interesting world. It's steampunk, but it's a dark and gritty and not overly Victorian steampunk. Hell, even some of the character outfits, like the maid outfit, I thought was an especially nice touch, where it's a reference back to, in many ways, how sexist and, in some regards, revealing the maid outfits were back then, but in a more dignified, interesting twist. Like, this is obviously steampunk, but an interesting new take on steampunk. So as much as I'm kind of liking the aesthetics of it, the gameplay's not hooking me all the way. maybe I'm not far enough in to really make a good judgment on this, but okay, so the dual wield thing's got some real potential. The melee in one hand, range in another. I love when games do that. I love when games say, okay, you got your weapon for far and your weapon for close, and the game seems to mix them well. There's enough auto aim that the I don't have to be exactly aiming. I've got to hit him with a gun, I guess, or the crossbow, as the case may be. And the fact that I can have a range weapon for both stealth and if I want to go loud is a nice touch. I'm assuming the gun always packs a little more power than the crossbow does, but the crossbow's silent and has knockout, non-lethal aspects to it, I'm willing to bet, which is really cool in my book. And the sword, knife thing, whatever it is, it looks cool. That spring move it did when I first picked it up, very badass. And I'm not comparing this game to Skyrim and Oblivion for a second or two, because it's the best comparison I can think of. This is first-person melee combat, and I don't know of a single game that's ever really nailed first-person melee combat. Some have gotten close. The best of which I can think out there is actually Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay, and even that one had some issues and had a lot of guns in it to kind of break up the melee aspects. And the melee aspects were purely stealth, which they are for the most part in this game, except there's a whole combat sword-fighting parry mechanic that's really close to nailing it. A lot closer than Skyrim, any of the Oblivion games have ever come, for that matter, but it's just not quite right, and it's rubbing me the wrong way. And I'm not sure why I'm nitpicking this so much, because it's obviously supposed to be a stealth game. They seem to give you a lot of fairly good lethal offensive options, and then to not expect me to use them's kind of, I don't know, silly. I like stealth games. They're not my favorite type of game out there, but I don't mind stealth games that have an emphasis on non-lethal approaches. What I do mind is when a stealth game gives you a really appealing set of lethal weapons and says, you can do this, but we really don't want you to because heroes don't murder people. I'm sorry, I'm an assassin now. I've been framed for murder. I'm about to start assassinating people, I assume, as the Admiral was implying right before the alarm went off. I'm obviously no longer a good person. We're kind of going revenge mode on this. And if I remember correctly, that's how the trailers were pitched. I think that the catchphrase of this game was, revenge solves everything. And yes, there's a nice set of stealth, non-lethal options. Like there's the chokeout move, which takes time. You can drag people away with it. But the lethal stuff is so appealing by comparison. The combat is solid. I chopped a guy's head off once by accident. Not awesome, like, hell yeah, I want to do that again, but it was cool. Like, it had a nice visceral feeling to it. Like, yeah, I'm a badass swordsman. The gun, I did a combo where I managed to parry a guy's attack, and I shot him, essentially. Again, very cool move feeling. A very cool feeling move. And this game appears to be dark, it appears to be gritty, and I kind of want to be violent as that is. And maybe this comes into the whole concept of player choice and how I'll choose to approach situations, but the game's implied there's multiple endings. I think there was like a hint between scenes or something where it said, hey, more kills, more rats. And the rats I've come across so far ate corpses and attacked the living hell out of me, so rats are bad, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know, like on top of the combat not being totally as good as it could be, and this is an awesome word, the combat's good. It's good enough that it's so close to being really good that the slight difference between it and really good is annoying, and that's why I'm harping on this so much. Like, to go back to the example of Skyrim and the Oblivion series, the combat there is bad, except for kind of the ranged options and if you're super, super good at being stealthy. And you know it's bad, and you understand it can't be better in that game. This combat's almost really good. In fact, it's pretty decent, but it's so close to being really good, you can kind of see the gap there, and that makes it so much worse, if that makes any sense. Like, Oblivion, you accept, it's bad. This, it's pretty good, and it could be just a little bit better if there was something more precise about it. I don't know. Like, it's not like a weird comparison. This and Metal Gear Solid Revengeance Rising, whatever it was, the Metal Gear Solid one starring Raiden when he was a ninja, have the two most satisfying sword mechanics I've dealt with in some regards. In that game, it was the control and blade mode that you could do that, and I'm not saying this game needs it, but I only seem to have like 3 or 4 sword slashes, but I've got a bunch of really good finishing moves, and yeah, not the pro D of the game, I'm sure, but maybe be able to feel a little bit more fluid with it. I don't know, like some control over how I'm slicing. Maybe that comes later on in the game. I don't know. I'd like it if that makes any sense. It's almost a really, really good sword fighting game, and it's so close it's annoying. On the same topic of annoying, I just got this power, I guess called Blink or something. It's a teleport move. And it's cool and all that's giving me that option, but goddamn this game for having a mana bar. I know, small gripe to have and stuff like that, but I'm getting the impression that my spells are going to be pretty damn important. And I get that I could probably blink all over the place and make the game a tad broken, but dear God, does it use a lot of power. And I'm willing to bet there'll be destructive powers that are overpowered. I saw some ones like it was like summon rats and wind and ash stab or something, or shadow stab, which all look fantastic. But I'm betting they use an appropriate feeling amount of magic, mana, whatever the hell you want to call it, up. And Blink, which is fairly utilitarian, I guess. It's a nice feeling move. It's not quite as smooth as I'd like it to be. It's got some weird range finding aspects to it, but it's good nonetheless. It drains your mana really quickly, and I'm not saying give me a chance to ninja shinobi around a room taking out guys with a move, but I haven't even used it outside the tutorial for it, and I'm already thinking, okay, I'm not going to use this because the climbing mechanics in this game are only kind of It's got a weird hold A to run up stuff, but doesn't always run up stuff, and your jump is terrible, so it's kind of hard to gauge what isn't the height you can grab. I don't know, like, traversal seems like it's going to be a big part of this game. It has been a big part of this game, and they keep introducing cool things, like, okay, you can climb, you can duck under stuff. You're a fairly mobile character. Hell, you can teleport. But it's never perfect. Going back to the combat, it doesn't quite control as well as it should, and maybe this is more stuff I'll unlock as time goes on, like, maybe I'll lengthen the range of Blink or whatever it is. But dear God, it just feels not quite right. And again, this might be another example of me getting ahead of myself and saying, you know, game, I'd like to be a tad more powerful from the start, and this is how they designed the game. But I don't feel like I'm at that level, if that makes any sense. Like, there's a gap between where I am and where I think I should be. Like, I'm sorry, I just learned how to teleport. I should be excited about that in a kind of stealth assassination game. And I'm already kind of, maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't. Seems to drain my mana awfully quickly, and it's hard to control under the best of circumstances. Again, maybe I'll get better at it, but I don't, like, overall, the game feels floaty in some weird ways. Like, the combat's not quite as tight as I want it to be, the blinking's not as tight, even just controlling the character. I had to adjust the setting at one point, and the jump to what I was at initially, when I was at by the end of the playing there, was drastic enough that really I had to drop down the sensitivity quite a bit, and it felt too much. Like, there wasn't an in-between step, and I went from too kind of sensitive, but then having a weird, almost sway to my motion, to not sensitive enough, and not sensitive is better than too sensitive in my book, but still, everything feels a little too much inertia to my movements, if that makes any sense, or not enough. Like, if I do the jump, if I do the blink from standing still, and I don't quite land on the edge, I fall to my death. Yeah, small gripe to complain about, but seeing as my character's managed to grab ledges before, maybe he should automatically grab the ledge or something. I don't know. And he did that once even. I aimed at a ledge, blinked up to it, and he pulled himself up. I don't know. Overall, this game's cool. It's got some promise. It just doesn't feel precise enough. And maybe the more I play it, the more it'll open up or something like that. But I don't know. This was a bunch of people's games of the year, I think, or something. People really excited. People love this game. I've heard a lot of really cool things. But hell, the ad campaign for it had me singing its song at the beginning. Their version of What Do You Do with a Drunken Sailor was great. I love sea shanties and stuff like that. You heard me sing the sea shanty at the very beginning of the game, even. Maybe this is overhyped, maybe I had more high expectations coming into this one, and it's a good game. It just feels not quite as good as I was led to believe it was. Like, it's solid, don't get me wrong, it could be more. But that being said...